Hi, so I'm Cal, I'm 23. We've thrown soup over the BEIS sign. BEIS used to be, well, it was a merger between one department and the Department for Energy and Climate Change. And our government does not seem to care in the slightest about climate change, which is a crisis that is going to kill millions, maybe billions, that is going to cause us to be thrown into abject suffering all across the world. And yet they are planning to issue over 130 new fossil fuel licenses, completely against what the UN has said. They've said it will be a death sentence. The International Energy Association has said we cannot have any new fossil fuel licenses, and they said that last year. We are in a desperate situation. Unfortunately, this is the kind of thing we need to do. There's a roadblock over there, you can see it. This is what we need to do to get the government to actually listen to us.
Almost every government in the world, including ours, has promised to keep climate change to 1.5, and they're not doing anything. Emissions are still rising. And meanwhile, we've got energy levels prices where people can't afford to heat up soup. And this winter, we're going to have a crisis.
Like there's a climate crisis, like we did for COVID. That was a crisis. We acted like it was a COVID crisis and we all stepped up. The climate crisis is really easy to ignore. It's really easy to carry on with our comfortable lifestyle.
The climate crisis, the cost of living crisis, like we're the ones that are paying the price. The politicians in there with their millions in like offshore tax havens and the oil bosses they're propping up, they're not listening. So that's why we're here today. Really, we need more taxation for energy companies. We need to see more investment in renewables and of course just up oil.
I'd just like to say that I know how awful this is to be held up, but this disruption is nothing compared to what's coming down the line when crops fail and when there's fighting for food supplies and water, and all of everybody's children are going to have to try and deal with it. So we're trying to send out a message that we need to act now.
If you do not move right now, then you will be arrested.
Just stop oil! Just stop oil! Just stop oil! Just stop oil!
So we're here outside the Department for Business, Energy and Industrial Strategy, and while the government bickers about whether Liz Truss is the right leader or not, the planet's burning and hundreds of people, thousands of people in this country can't afford to heat their homes and can't afford to buy food for their families. We're the 6th richest country in the world, and that's wrong. And 130 new oil licenses, which is what this department is about to approve, is a death sentence for this planet, for all the life on this planet, and for future generations. So I'm here out of love to resist this government and to say that what they're doing is wrong and that I believe there's a better way. I'd love us to transition to renewables. I'd love to see a fairer world where resources are shared more equally, and that's what I'm visualising, and that's why I'm in the road today.
So I wrote Just Stop Mog in tomato ketchup. Mog has no mandate to extract every last drop of oil and every last cubic metre of gas, and lots of good reasons not to, echoed by all of the world scientists, all of the countries that signed up to the Paris Agreement to keep global heating under 1.5 degrees. There are no reasons to extract that last drop of oil. It won't help the cost of living crisis because oil and gas is 9 times the price of renewable energy. and yet they're suppressing renewable energy, making it harder. They're refusing to do the mass insulation that's necessary to reduce the demand for energy. They've hit the ground running in a backwards direction over a cliff. We just have to stop them. Enough is enough.
Mother of two. I've been worrying about the climate crisis for 30 years. I've seen things get worse and worse. 2019, government granted a climate and ecological breakdown emergency. They're not acting like it's an emergency. Truss is about to give out 130 new oil licences and re-allow fracking. That's not a sensible solution to a climate crisis. It needs to stop, and ordinary people need to rise up and help it stop.
I'm Andrew from Cambridge, engineering. I'm campaigning here for Just Stop Oil. The Arctic towns are sinking into the permafrost because it's melting. Permafrost contains twice as much CO2 embedded in it as our entire atmosphere at the moment. There's enough oil to keep us going for the next 10 years or so. Even the oil company organisation acknowledges that existing oil production is enough oil to take us over the 1.5 centigrade limit. So there's no need to generate any new oil. We should just stop oil now.
This is probably the first time in my life I'm facing arrest. It's taken a long time to get to this decision, but it's all down to the government not fulfilling its promises that it made at COP, that the UN are recommending, and to allow another 140 oil projects since we said we committed ourselves to not doing that. I can't allow that to go. The life of this planet, the life of the human life on this planet is running out, it's too short. If not, who else is going to do it? If not me, then who? If not now, then when? So that's why I'm here today.
Yeah! Power to the people!
And they're planning new oil wells for the indefinite future. They're just kidding us all. They're just kidding us all. They're liars. And it's everybody's future. Thank you. Department of Energy, oil wells. So that's why we're targeting them.
My name's Steve. I'm from North Devon. I'm 66 years old, retired plumber. And I'm here today because this government is pushing for new oil and gas in the middle of not only a climate crisis, but a cost of living crisis. We need to pivot away from oil and gas towards renewables and insulating houses. That's going to save people money. That's going to reduce our emissions. Instead, they're going the opposite way. Why? Well, I suspect it's because the Tory party is largely funded by the oil companies, and they're doing what the oil companies want, which will cause considerable harm to the people of the UK.
We need you to listen to I say just stop, you say oil. Just stop oil. Just stop oil. Species are going extinct every day. The oil that is coming up to the surface will kill us. We don't need to do that. We need to leave the oil in the ground. We need to just tell Truss, leave the oil there. Let's figure out the other sensible solutions. Let's insulate Britain. Why have we got the draftiest, leakiest housing stock in Europe? That's mad. Why is it unaffordable to travel by train so often? Why can't we just put our money into renewable investment? Why are Shell and BP being paid so well to kill us? I don't want to live in this crazy mess. I want sensible solutions for everybody. Donate to Just Stop Oil. Join us in the road. Don't put up with this rubbish.
Oil and gas is a death sentence. We need to rapidly expand to renewables. Please join us. Don't be a bystander. Oil. Just stop oil.
We know time's up on oil and gas. The government know it, the billionaires know it. It's a Victorian solution to a 21st century problem, and there's way, way better answers out there.
Stand there, stand up for something, get involved, make a difference.